So let's have a look at the next part of this conversation. TVNZ also asked people about Chippy and if they thought Chippy should step aside. Chewy and Chippy? Chippy and Chewy. So Chewy, should Chippy step aside? Is his reign as leader over, according to the voters?
Our exclusive poll also put Chris Hipkins' leadership under the spotlight. We asked, should he remain leader of the Labour Party? 54% of eligible voters polled say yes, he should, while 26% think he should step down, and 20%, as you can see.
So that's significant. Half, just over half, more than half of the people, like about the same percentage of people think he should stay as leader as thinks Christopher Luxon is not relatable. So that's a pretty impressive number for someone who has just lost an election. But I think as Kieran McAnulty has told us a couple of times, there's been no blow up. Often when you get trounced like that, my word, not his, at an election, you know, the party is pretty septic after that. And this hasn't happened. So maybe that's one of the reasons people are still showing some sign of confidence in him. We'll have a look what they've got to say, because I think Kieran's actually in this conversation.
Don't know or prefer not to say. Senior political reporter Benedict Collins has more.
As Prime Minister, he was synonymous with sausage rolls.
Too much sauce.
But the public couldn't stomach another term of Labour, slumping to defeat.
1 year on, do you think you have the public's support to remain as Leader of the Opposition?
Yes, I do, and I certainly have the support of my team. Our goal over the next 2 years is to rebuild our support.
And they sure have a lot of rebuilding to do.
Did you lose any sleep last night over your fall in the preferred Prime Minister stakes?
No, I didn't. I mean, look, all politicians love to be popular.
A tough ask, he says, in opposition.
The nature of the job is you tend to be more critical and more negative.
Our poll shows many New Zealanders back him to stay, though some think his days are numbered.
I think he can stay put for the minute, but I think he will be pushed out in the end.
He should absolutely step down.
I don't get the sense, Chewy, that he's going to be pushed out. If you say nothing else positive about this Labour Party, I think they seem quite united. And I think if Chippy was to step down, it'll be because it's what's best for the party. That's how, I mean, it may not be, might turn into a bloody bloodbath. But at the moment, it feels like if he was to step down, it would be kind of talked through and organised and done in a way that seems, that wouldn't harm the party. I don't know. Am I being a bit Pollyanna, or is that you see it like that way?
Yeah, I whether he stays or goes, I don't think it's going to be because of a bloodbath or some sort of coup. I just don't think that the Labour Party at this point. I know that there is talk of a segment of the Labour Party that's not happy with him, mainly around who was the guy that got demoted? The names escape me.
From.
Oh no, he resigned the portfolio on a principle, maybe about capital gains tax or something like that.
Oh, yeah, the finance spokesperson looks like he should be still at secondary school. The name's
the name has completely escaped me. But
you watch 10 seconds. There you go. Look at that, 10 seconds. Always the way. David Parker, perfect.
David Parker. Yes, yeah. So there was ructions around that. Basically, David Parker was right and did nothing wrong. Sort of faction, and they sort of put a lot of blame at Chippy's feet there. I think he's right. It is difficult when you're in opposition and you have lost. Like, I think wrongly, in my opinion, New Zealand has the opinion that if a leader loses an election, they need to go immediately. I don't think that's necessarily correct. I don't think that there was a lot, just based on New Zealand's voting habits, that would have put Labour in for another term. I disagree with that vehemently, but that's the way it goes. I think Chippy is a good leader. I think he is relatable. The thing that I want from Chippy is a little bit more blood around his muzzle. He is in opposition. And
he knows that. He said that when he was with us. He knows that now.
Absolutely. He's identified it. So when I see comments in our chat and comments and news stories going, where's Chippy, all of this sort of stuff, is he missing in action? Or is he just not getting the cut through in the media? Because we have even less media for him to get cut through on.
Yeah, it's true.
Does he need to look at another way of connecting with voters and showing that he is the junkyard dog that we want him to be in?
Yeah.
And he's going to go after Luxon because these guys just keep leaving targets for them to bang the drum on.
Yep.
And a lot of them are not getting answered in a way that is getting that cut through.
We do have a bunch of super chats that have come in. We're not finished the story yet, but there's one that's quite pertinent that I'd like to get out there now from James Faction. Come on, guys. Luxon is not a successful businessman. When he left New Zealand, it was 3.06 billion in debt. 9 months later, it was bailed out by the government. Well, I mean, I don't have the research to agree or disagree, so we'll take it as fact. But what would be important to also figure out was what was it when he came on board? Like, was it even and he caused it $3 million worth of debt? So that's look, I'll commit to doing some work because I love the research. I've just never researched that.
Yeah, I've just been flicking through a few stories. Luxon came on after Rob Fife, who was generally regarded as being an excellent CEO for Air New Zealand, who set it up really well. And it looks to me that Luxon comes in and delivers some pretty good share price boosts and that sort of thing. But there is a consistent thing that comes through. Staff morale went through the floor.
Right.
People left. There are stories from cabin crew about how he interacted with the union over pay negotiations and stuff like that. He is not a guy that strikes me as someone that gets people. He's not a people person.
That sounds like, now let's just take that super chat as fact as is for now, and that it was, and it was a downturn from him. If that's all true, and we need to sort of do the research, that means he provided a return for the shareholders, and a lot of other people got screwed over, including the government, which had to bail it out. Now, how different is that from a good return for the landlords and the top 1%? You know what I'm saying? It's like, is that actually relatable? He's done good for the shareholders. They've tripled their money while he was there. So the people with money the rich have got richer at Air New Zealand. Does that sound familiar at all with policies now? Hey, look, I feel sorry for this poor man. He said his eyes shut for about 3 minutes. I think we should keep going and get to the end of the story.
It's about a fairly average bunch.
I look forward to the day that we've got a serious opposition.
And how do his political opponents rate his chances?
I think he's doing a fantastic job as opposition leader.
How so?
Well, every time he opens his mouth, down they go in the polls.
If anyone thinks that another new tax is going to get you back into government, then you should be on a TUI billboard.
But a former colleague says it's a very strong poll for Chris Hipkins.
Given that he's within 12 months of being defeated at the polls, and quite heavily defeated at the polls.
To turn things around, she says he needs to spend more time in our biggest city and up his social media game.
Chris Hipkins needs to be known on social media as more than the sausage roll guy. And he is more than the sausage roll guy.
His caucus insist they've got his back.
And I back him 100%.
This is very funny. It's not supposed to be funny, but when they talk to Kieran, it's very funny. Oh, what did I do? Sorry,
You
team.
disappeared. Tell us. It's really funny. You can't see.
Men can do a perfectly good job in politics and should be encouraged.
One MP tipped as a possible future Labour leader, Kieran McAnulty.
Chris Hipkins, should he remain on as Labour leader?
Yes.
What about you? Do you have any ambitions to be Labour leader?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Even if he was offered it?
No.
Is he sure?
Yeah.
Adamant he'll never be Labour's leader, nor a famous orator on that effort.
There you go. I will pause it. There is something pretty special about that face right there, though. Just that one. So we're just...
He knew exactly what he was doing there. Look at the glint in his eye.
Nah. He goes, cheeky young fella. Nah. So that's the... So, I mean, I also think you get kind of this, you get favourable bias when you are the leader. You know what I mean? So like people already know he's the leader, so they go, he should stick around. He's the leader. He's doing fine. Like if someone else was the leader, then they'd get that bump as well. So there's going to be a portion of that 54% or whatever it is that are going, oh, yep, he's the guy because he's already the guy. But actually, I mean, Kieran McAnulty is adorable. And I think most of us think he probably will be the next leader. And I'm not saying he's lying. He's actually doing what everyone would do. He doesn't want to undermine Chippy. He doesn't want to feed the media beast that's going to be like, oh, ructions, And I don't think Yeah, I don't think, as we said in this earlier in this chat, that he is going to be involved in a coup, even a bloodless one. I think whatever happens in the next stage of the Labour Party will be a decision that's best for the Labour Party, and everyone will be on board. That's what my gut tells me. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. What else do you think, Chewy? Anything else about that? About the old Chippy, people liking Chippy?
I think it's a long road. Like, we've still got 2 years to go. I think Chippy is fine where he is. I want to see just a full court press from the entire team. You know, we talked a few months ago about the misstep of fudging numbers and that sort of thing. I want to see everybody in their portfolios, across their portfolios, because that is something that the government is not capable of. So every time they turn the cameras to you and go, well, what do you think about this thing that's been announced? That someone can hit them with numbers just straight away. They need everybody across it, just a rolling wall of opposition. People can see it. People can feel it. They just need to see it from the opposition.